Yes, be respectful.
All right, I'll be respectful.
That's my advice for you.
My name.
Ask if you can take a video, but you're just shooting video.
No, you know me. I'm
respectful.
famous.
I don't want to.
Hi, what's up, brother? You good?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Congratulations, Abel.
Come on.
I'm not a snitch.
Congratulations.
Choreographed the Wednesday dance that went viral, right?
Yes, I did.
Can you show me real quick? You was like,
Stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Facts. But I never,
right.
you know what? Whatever.
She went to Seton Hall. She graduated.
Michael, they make you an icon. Are you aware?
I'm not aware. Are you silly? Do you ever just look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I really did it today?
Man, I don't want to talk about this. Dude, I've done this so many times, dude. Can we just, I don't want to do an interview, man. Man, y'all listen, listen to my songs.
She's asking me questions, like good ones, and then she didn't even pay attention to what I was saying.
You'd think that in Hollywood, losing weight would be great for your career, but the celebrities on today's list got canceled for losing weight. Let's get into it. Rebel Wilson had one of the biggest turnarounds in Hollywood. She made many jokes about her weight, and her character was even named Fat Amy in the Pitch Perfect series. She used it to her advantage to build her comedy, but when she lost the weight, she lost her fans as well. People started thinking she wasn't nearly as funny as she was, which simply isn't true. And she had a lot of people saying that, well, by losing the weight, it would put a dent in her career. Apparently, it did give her the opportunity to have a healthier lifestyle and, a smaller dress size, which sometimes comes in handy. She's like, sometimes being bigger, people didn't necessarily look twice at you. And now that I'm in a good shape, people offer to carry my groceries to the car and hold doors open. But critics have called her weight loss kind of toxic and depressing and a symptom of Hollywood's fat phobia. Kinda sad. So Lizzo has no shame in who she is, and she allegedly empowers others to feel the same way. But when she went on a full detox to lose weight, people started questioning her. Then when fans found out that she went vegan just to lose weight, they were furious, saying that she was doing the opposite of what she stood for. Now, she defended herself on Instagram saying, I detoxed my body and I'm still fat. Sure, yes, in reality she is still happy with herself and she just wants to feel healthier. She said that both versions of her were happy, this one is just healthier. Shaming people doesn't make a difference, supporting their change does. But here's the thing. She's been canceled for other reasons as well. Late last year, news broke that 3 former dancers accused Lizzo of harassment and creating a hostile work environment in a lawsuit that was filed in California. To be specific, Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez accused Lizzo, along with her production company, Big Girl Big Touring, and her dance team captain, Shirlene Quigley, of religious and racial harassment, disability discrimination, false imprisonment, and more. So why is this relevant? Well, the complaint says Lizzo drew attention to a dancer's weight after an appearance at the South by Southwest Music Festival in Austin, Texas, and pressured dancers to engage with nude dancers at clubs in Amsterdam and Paris, which not a great move for somebody whose entire brand is about loving your body. There are also claims that Lizzo took her crew to a nude cabaret bar without disclosing what the bar was, and berated dancers and fired one on the spot for recording a meeting. Like, one dancer says that she soiled her pants during a rehearsal because she was so afraid of losing her job. And the lawsuit also says that Quigley publicly discussed one dancer's virginity. After the lawsuit was filed, 2 more women came forward backing up the allegations. Former dancer Courtney Hollenquist and Lizzo's former creative director took to Instagram to add their support. Now, Hollenquist, in a since-expired story, clarified she was not part of the lawsuit, but this was very much my experience in my time there. And Wilson added on, saying, I haven't been part of that world for around 3 years for a reason. I very much applaud the dancers' courage to bring this to light, and I grieve parts of my own experience. I'd appreciate space to understand my feelings. So what makes these particular allegations so shocking? Lizzo has been very vocal about body positivity and women's rights since kicking off her career, becoming something of a champion and role model. And, she even did interviews saying, people saying stuff that's mean about her, that's fatphobic and hurtful, and she's like, feel like my music cool. If you don't like me because of the way I look, well, that respect goes both ways. If you can't be respectful to your employees, you kind of deserve to be canceled. Ariel Winter thought getting her big break in Modern Family was going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to her, but it kind of took a toll on her mental health. She has been bullied for her weight for years, considering she was the heavier sister on the show. But when she lost weight as she got older, she was ridiculed by fans once again. One fan even commented on her Insta saying, I know it's good to be maintaining a healthy weight and all, and you can do whatever you want with your body, just please don't get skinny. The audacity? No, absolutely not. So Meghan Trainor's got 2 kids and a whole lot of curves for a mom. But people still make fun of her for losing weight. Goodness forbid, she ate a bit healthier. She worked out regularly. Even though she had a crazy schedule. People have been making fun of her for losing the weight that made her famous in the first place, and it wasn't even that much either. She lost 20 pounds, which made a world of difference for her, but it's not that crazy. She just wanted to be healthier for her sake, and also like for her kids, which it's so wholesome. Instead of folks dissing her for it, you should just be more supportive. So Adele has been hitting it out of the park in the musical world for years. So when she lost some weight, it shouldn't have made a difference, right? Well, some people started to give her their opinions on her weight and her body type after she lost the weight. Some folks celebrated her transformation, while others were troubled by it and even went so far as to call her a sellout. One said, celebrating Adele's weight loss is a garbage thing to do for a million reasons. It tells your fat friends that you think their bodies are a problem that needs to be solved. Please stop saying Adele had a glow up, wrote another person online. We have no idea what her health was or is like, and this is just reinforcing the skinny ideal or the concept that the skinnier you are, the prettier you get. Some blog writers even said it's a strange thing to do because it implied that she was, well, heavy before when she wasn't. So at that point, the haters were just going too far and completely missed the point of her losing weight because it made her feel good, not because of social standards. Now, Adele has refrained from much discussion of her body, but when she hosted Saturday Night Live in October of 2020, she made light of the situation. She said, I know, I look really different since you last saw me, but actually because of all the restrictions in the world and the travel bans, I had to travel light, and I could only bring half of me, and this is the half I chose. It's kind of funny. So Jonah Hill made an incredible turnaround and shed more than just a couple of pounds, but to this day he doesn't really want people talking about it. He didn't brag much on social media, he didn't really keep up with progress photos, simply because he feels like it's nobody's business what he does with his weight, even if it did cause a lot of fan outrage because he was often typecast because of said weight. In an interview, Sharon Stone asked for his permission to say he looked amazing, which honestly, super respectful to do. But fans didn't really appreciate that. Overall, it was a lose-lose situation, even if he was a healthier version of himself. So Khloe Kardashian has been on a weight loss journey ever since she welcomed her daughter True in April of 2018. She's documented it online. She's shared her workouts on her Insta, her Snapchat, her family's reality TV show. In 2023, however, her weight loss started heating up to a whole other level. So apparently on her family's TV show, she was known by people as the fat sister because she didn't have as much work done on her body as her sisters did. And she's got some curves. Well, she got what she called a revenge body. So she dropped a lot of weight, she gained some muscle to be more visually appealing, but the fans weren't happy with that at all. Khloe has continued to document not just her workouts but like also the results. And one fan was like, the fact that she uses diabetic medicine to get this skinny is disturbing, alleging that Khloe uses semaglutide, which is commonly used in medicines like Ozempic to achieve her svelte figure. Now, according to the FDA, the medications are used for chronic weight management in adults with obesity or who are overweight with a weight-related condition, including high blood pressure or type 2 diabetes. Look, jokes on everyone. Khloe is happy and healthy, happily married with kids. Like, you know, she's got that. So Amy Schumer was seen as overweight in the eyes of Hollywood and even played on that point when she starred in the movie I Feel Pretty. But she can still appease Hollywood even when she's dropped a bunch of weight to feel better about herself. But she's been met with a lot of criticism about that. She has handled the entire ordeal the same way she has with everything else in life, making sarcastic remarks and jokes about the feedback on her face and body, and how everybody's got an opinion on everything. She tweeted in response to the haters saying she felt happy with herself, she felt healthy. She only weighed in at 160, which like isn't that much over the average weight, being somewhere between 120 to 155 depending on body type and age. Few actors are as devoted to character transformations as Christian Bale, who has gained and lost incredible amounts of weight from many of his past roles. He's kind of notorious for this, and it's not exactly healthy. He gained over 40 pounds for his role in Vice, lost over 60 pounds for his role in The Machinist, both of which were kind of extreme. Now, after that role in The Machinist, where he weighed like 120, he had to gain 100 pounds in 6 months for Batman Begins, but then had to lose 30 pounds again before filming because he bulked up too much. He's even done special exercises to thicken his neck in order to physically fulfill the demands of his movie roles. No, big suits or doing it halfway for this guy. Look, it's one thing to commit to a role, but when you fluctuate that much and that quickly, it's not healthy. So naturally, people have hated on him for it. Now, however, he has recently revealed that those days might be soon behind him. He's like, I've become a little more boring now. I'm older. I feel like if I keep doing this, I'm gonna die. so I'd prefer not to die. And I think all of his fans would agree. Now, Ashley Graham, the amazing plus size model that she is known for her curves and recently took to Instagram to promote self-love. She's like, love the skin you're in. Now, she gave birth to a son in 2020 and captioned a post featuring her nude with her stretch marks on display, and fans were quick to shower her with praise in the comments. But she's also been on the receiving end of hateful messages about her body. Like in 2016, she posted a seemingly slimmer photo on Insta and people didn't like it. They were like, why are you changing yourself? I thought you were comfortable being yourself and being plus size. Now, Ashley hit back, being like, nothing is never enough for you. But at the end of the day, I'm good enough for me.
In an extremely odd tangent during an interview to promote his movie Stillwater, Matt Damon talked about using a homophobic word at dinner with his family. His daughter rightly intervened, leaving the table to write an essay to him about why using that particular word was wrong. Nobody was quite sure why in the year 2021 the Hollywood actor would still need that explained to him, but here we are. Our next celebrity is Ezra Miller. DC Studios saw Ezra Miller, aka comic book history's most problematic The Flash, plead guilty to 1-count misdemeanor unlawful trespass in a Vermont court. In exchange, the prosecution dropped felony burglary and larceny charges. The actor attributed their ongoing legal struggles as well as other terrible allegations to, quote, complex mental health issues. DC Studios has stood by them thus far and left the fate of the beloved character in purgatory for now. In April 2020, a video surfaced online of Ezra appearing to choke somebody at a bar in Iceland. A source later confirmed to Variety that the incident was, quote, a serious altercation at a bar, and that Miller was escorted off the premises as a result. 2 years after the incident, the woman from the clip shared her side of the story with Variety, saying that her banter with the actor about getting into a fight was meant as a joke, but her friend appeared to antagonize the situation when he told Ezra that he heard the actor did not want to fight. My friend didn't have to say that, she told the outlet. It was just a joke, obviously. But Ezra took that literally and got super mad and came running outside. Our next celebrity is Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen was written off of 2.5 Men following 8 years of playing Charlie Harper on the CBS sitcom. 2 months after Sheen was admitted to a rehab facility, the actor was fired due to his self-destructive behavior and offensive comments towards the show's producers. Here's how the network handled it. Ashton Kutcher was brought on as Walden Schmidt, who became the new comedic foil for Alan Harper. Sheen's character was revealed to have been hit by a subway train. The series finale, however, puts a new spin on Charlie Harper's absence from the show. The last episode depicts Charlie Sheen as a cartoon character who was kidnapped by his admirer, Rose. The scene takes a jab at Sheen's issues, turning his nose as a vacuum, inhaling a large pile of sugar. Interesting choice. Next up, we have Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, who is set to play oil tycoon J. Paul Getty in Ridley Scott's 70s set thriller All the Money in the World, was let go from the film. In October, 2 months before All the Money in the World was scheduled to premiere, actor Anthony Rapp went public with accusations that Spacey had done some pretty bad stuff to him when Anthony was 14 years old. More than a dozen other men came forward with similar accusations against Spacey shortly afterwards. Spacey, who seemingly attempted to shield himself from criticism by coming out as gay, faced 3 separate legal cases from the accusations. All of these ended in Spacey's favor, were dismissed, or were dropped. How the studios handled it. To the extent that cancellation is a real thing, Spacey got thoroughly cancelled. He was fired from House of Cards, which proceeded with a 6th and final season without him, and he was fired from a biopic he was tapped to star in. For All the Money in the World, Ridley Scott reshot Spacey's scenes as Getty a month before its release, now with the much more age-appropriate Christopher Plummer in the role. Remarkably, the scenes only took 8 days to reshoot, and the film managed to hit its intended release date. Crazy. Our next cancelled actor is TJ Miller, and this one is so disappointing. I just watched TJ in 2016's Office Christmas Party movie. He's hilarious, but I guess he's not the best person in real life. TJ Miller, best known for starring in Silicon Valley in late 2017, also starring in the Emoji Movie, Miller was the subject of numerous public controversies, including accusations of transphobia by film critic Danielle Solzman. In April 2018, he got arrested after calling in a fake fake bomb threat while drunk on an Amtrak train. That's crazy. And later that year, he was accused of bullying behavior on the set of Silicon Valley by recurring actor Alice Wetterlund. How the studios handled it? Well, Miller left Silicon Valley in May before the accusations against him became public, but the actor had already filmed scenes for the blockbuster movie Deadpool 2 and recorded voice lines for the third How to Train Your Dragon movie. Deadpool 2 went ahead, but star Ryan Reynolds made it clear that TJ Miller would not return for future sequels. DreamWorks Animation, meanwhile, had Miller's role in The Hidden World overdubbed by another actor, Justin Rupel. Next up, we have Constance Wu. From movies like Crazy Rich Asians and Hustlers, Constance set her sights on becoming a prominent A-lister. But in 2019, things took a turn. Quote, so upset right now that I'm literally crying. Twitter was blowing up. Effing hell. These two were tweets from the actor Constance Wu after her ABC sitcom Fresh Off the Boat was renewed for a 6th season, and she did not seem happy about it. When one person told her, congrats on your renewal, great news, she tweeted back, no it's not. Constance even went as far to comment on the show's official Instagram account and wrote dislike on the post announcing the show's renewal. This was followed by intense backlash from fans and online commentators. People called her ungrateful for dismissing an opportunity that so many struggling actors would die for. They said her public dissatisfaction was a slap in the face to the cast and crew who worked on the show. They called her a diva. Jimmy Kimmel joked about her and this incident on his own show. Perez Hilton reported she was, quote, the most hated person on the set of Fresh Off the Boat, and journalist Yashir Ali even wrote in a since deleted tweet, quote, Constance Wu's conduct today comes as no surprise to anybody who has worked with her in recent years. She has a reputation for being rude, petty, mean-spirited, and ungrateful. Actor Gemma Chan, who co-starred with Wu in Crazy Rich Asians, liked his tweet. She later clarified that she accidentally liked the tweet and said, anybody looking for drama? Sorry to disappoint. The tweet by Ali continues saying, I remember going to a gala later that same month hosted by a major Asian American nonprofit with a predominantly Asian American audience, and one famous Asian American comedian on stage made a joke about Constance Wu's outbursts. Everybody in the room laughed. An insider on the set of Hustlers said she was a, quote, big diva and demanded her name be on the top of the call sheet. The movie Hustlers also saw another diva on set, Miss Jennifer Lopez. Last year, a viral TikTok trend where people told their J-Lo horror stories went viral, and some of the stories are actually crazy. One user said, I served at a restaurant where J-Lo and Ben Affleck were eating. At the end of the meal, Ben put a $100 bill down as a tip for the waitress. As Jennifer was just about to leave, she grabbed the $100 bill and replaced it with $5. Another woman took to TikTok to claim that the Jenny from the Block singer is also rude to her drivers. The TikToker claimed her father once worked for a company that Lopez often hired to provide drivers and said that her dad would refuse to drive J-Lo after hearing stories about her poor temperament. She alleged that J-Lo does not allow the drivers to look at her or talk to her, and that even if the driver looks through a rear view mirror, they could be subjected to a scolding from the diva celebrity. Lastly, she also allegedly has a peculiar rule. They cannot let her luggage touch the ground. Next up, we have Blake Lively. Users on Reddit shared their Blake Lively horror stories, and here is what one user said, quote, my boyfriend works in the movie studios and concerts where we live and has done small to major movies and met some pretty big movie stars because of it. The worst person he's ever had to deal with was Blake Lively. He said she was the most entitled, snobbiest, and rudest person to ever deal with. She threw tantrums on set and she treated literally every single person like a piece of crap except for the director. The cast of Jersey Shore also had some things to say about Blake Lively. While the cast was taking part in a segment called Revenge of the Shady Duck Phone on Andy Cohen's talk show, they were asked, who's the rudest celebrity you've ever interacted with? While the cast didn't name names at first, Snooki blurted out Joy Behar, while Sammy and Dina said Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were really rude to them, though they all had the highest praise for Queen Bee herself, Beyonce. Speaking of Ryan Reynolds, he is also known in Hollywood for being super nice to high-profile celebs, but not really anyone else lower on the totem pole, except for A-list star Salma Hayek. Hayek and Reynolds made an appearance on BBC Radio 1 to talk about their experience working together on the film Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. During the course of the conversation, the Mexican actor, who's known known to have a strong Hispanic accent, revealed how Reynolds gave her a very hard time in one scene in which her character was trying to put on a British accent. Quote, Reynolds traumatized me. He thought I was terrible with my British accent. I didn't think so. I thought I was a natural Brit, and I said to him, Ryan, does it sound good? He said, just give it up. It's 3 in the morning, I cannot help you with that. Do I look like a miracle worker? A user on Reddit also gave their thoughts on Ryan Reynolds, saying, quote, he was a well-known a-hole on set and to people in general, which is why his career was fizzling out for a while. Hugh Jackman saved him. Apparently, he told him that he can't keep going like this or nobody will work with him anymore. He cleaned up his act, but somehow I can't help but feel that the a-hole is still there, under the whole persona he has going in public.
Catherine Bigelow's Zero Dark 30 portrayed the story of the US military finding and killing Osama bin Laden. The tactics that were shown in the film made it very controversial, specifically showing what the military and CIA did to their prisoners when they want information, specifically showing waterboarding in some scenes in an attempt to gain information about where bin Laden was hiding. Showcasing these scenes sparked a debate, with some claiming the creators of the movie were actually endorsing these tactics. The only Academy Award the film received was for Best Sound Editing, even though it was nominated in multiple huge categories. Many Oscar pundits believe the controversy derailed the film's awards chances, since it was one of the standout movies from that year that is still beloved to this day. And at number 9, American Pie. American Pie is a classic teen movie that's almost like a rite of passage these days, but this film was almost seriously stunted with an NC-17 rating. The creators of the film set out to make it for teenagers, so it was of vital importance that teens could go see it in theaters. Jason Biggs recalled that 4 different versions of the movie were sent to the Motion Picture Association of America to get a rating, and they all came back as NC-17, which is not what they wanted. The main issue with the movie was the infamous scene with the pie, if you know, you know. The MPAA board was basically stumped on how to deal with it, since the scene had no prior precedent. The filmmakers pushed for a solution on how to bring the rating down to an R, and the association came up with one. In the end, they agreed to the R rating only if the number of thrusts from Biggs into the pie were fewer than previously shown. Yep, that's right, they put a limit on the number of thrusts. And at number 8, The House That Jack Built. This film was allegedly so nasty it made hundreds of people walk out of the theater at the Cannes Film Festival world premiere. This rumor has been denied by a lot of the critics that were in attendance, but it didn't stop the movie from becoming infamous. This started the controversy that would make it 2018's most controversial film. Some of the worst scenes included a duck's leg being brutally cut off, something animal activists like PETA were vocal against. Thankfully, it was later revealed that it was a prop and not a real animal. The movie also included extreme and unnecessary violence towards women, which made it particularly hard for women to watch. All in all, it's still considered one of the most shocking movies of all time. And at number 7, Ghost in the Shell. This 2017 remake was a huge flop and almost didn't make it to theaters because of how much backlash it got for whitewashing the characters. This movie was massive in its native Asia, so Paramount decided to make an Americanized version of the movie to capitalize on the success, but it didn't end up that way. The production spent $110 million on the movie, but it tanked in the box office after Scarlett Johansson was cast in the lead. Many fans felt an Asian woman should have been cast in the role instead. Johansson and the filmmakers tried to spin the casting decision as justified, since Johansson's character is a cyborg and thus doesn't really belong to a specific ethnicity, but many fans did not buy it. The situation got worse when it was rumored that the editors planned to make Scarlett look more Asian in the final product. At first, Scarlett defended the casting decision, but after insane amounts of backlash, she apologized. And at number 6, The Human Centipede 2. It's understandable why this movie is on this list, because I'm sure it still gives some viewers nightmares. The first movie was bad enough, but if you can believe it, the sequel was even worse. 2 years after the original, the creator developed the sequel, making it even more disgusting than the first. The meta-sequel follows a mentally ill man who becomes so obsessed with the first movie that he decides to embark on his own mission to create a human centipede. Obviously as disturbing as it gets. This film is so disturbing it was banned and or censored in various cities around the world. Critics have repeatedly called it one of the most reprehensible films ever made. Let me know below if you've watched any of the movies. I thankfully have not and probably never will. Halfway number 5, The Hunt. This is one of the more recent movies in this list, with The Hunt being released in 2017, but the movie has deep political ties which made it incredibly controversial. It was actually removed from its September 27th release date because it was in the middle of so much scandal. Firstly, the promotion of the film was halted after mass casualty events in Dayton, Ohio and El Paso, Texas. Many felt that promoting a movie like The Hunt was out of touch for the time. The second scandal was surrounding the contents of the film. Specifically, the plot seems to accuse Democratic politicians of having terrible intentions for the American people. The plot of the film centers around Americans getting hunted for sport by the elites of America, including politicians. In the script, one of the politicians referred to the hunted as, quote, deplorables. It turns out that this was the word Hillary Clinton infamously used to describe Trump supporters. Conservatives lashed out against the hunt, with Donald Trump even weighing in and calling the hunt very dangerous to our country. The movie was later released on March 13th of 2020. And at number 4, The Interview. Even before the trailer of this movie was released, it was widely considered controversial based on the plot. The movie was about two American journalists played by Seth Rogen and James Franco, who set up an interview with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, then get recruited to aid in his death. Even stranger, this whole thing was supposed to be a comedy. The outrage against the film got so bad that anonymous hackers decided to hack Sony in 2014 to stop the release of the film. The general consensus around Hollywood is that North Korea hacked the studio in reaction to The Interview. Sony was so nervous after that hack, they decided not to premiere the movie in theaters nationwide. Instead, they put it on demand so people could still buy the movie if they wanted to see it. I am absolutely sure the studio considered scrapping the movie altogether. And at number 3, The Joker. The Joker is another one of those movies that sparked controversy the moment it was announced, which only got worse after the release of the trailer. Although critics loved the film, and it gained accolades for director Todd Phillips and actor Joaquin Phoenix. The main criticism of the movie was the depiction of violence in the film, as well as the circumstances that made the audience feel bad for the Joker at some points. Director Phillips defended the gore in the film, saying that showing PG versions of death is worse than his movie. People were also concerned that the movie could spur real-world violence. At least one showing of the film in LA was cancelled over opening weekend due to a legitimate threat. But that did not stop people from showing up to the rest of the screenings, making The Joker a box office success, and ended up grossing over $1 billion at the box office. And at number 2, Mother. This movie was not only controversial, it was confusing and was rated poorly by critics. The film starred Jennifer Lawrence, who was at the height of her career at the time, but unfortunately this movie put a huge dent in her reputation. After it premiered at the 2017 Venice Film Festival, it became an instant talking point, with many critics not sure how the reception would be. The final 20 minutes of the movie basically reenacts all of history in the small house, making it one of the more jaw-dropping sequences. Not only did fans dislike the confusing plot, but the violence towards the main character, Jennifer Lawrence, was seen as unnecessary and harmful to women everywhere. A poster for the film featuring Lawrence's bruised face was widely criticized for glorifying violence against women to market the movie. And finally, number 1, Nina. Cynthia Morta's 2016 biographical drama, Nina, got so much backlash it's a shock it was ever released. The movie portrayed the life of civil rights activist Nina Simone, but Nina and her family were vehemently against the movie. It also got backlash for casting Zoe Saldana in the role of Nina and darkening her skin tone to appear more like Nina in real life. Tons of fans and other celebrities spoke out against this use of blackface, including Grammy winner India Air, who wrote a damning op-ed for The Hollywood Reporter about the film's use of dark makeup. Nina's family did not keep their hatred for the movie to themselves, and they were openly against it, even telling fans of Nina's to boycott the movie. Her family made a public statement which told Saldana to, quote, "Please take Nina's name out of your mouth for the rest of your life." After the recent Astroworld Festival tragedy, it might be the end of Travis Scott as we know him. While Travis was performing at the sold-out 50,000 person festival, concertgoers rushed to the front of the stage, causing mass panic. People were crushed and not able to breathe. This resulted in the death of at least 10 people and injuries to hundreds of others. Since the festival, Travis Scott, along with the venue and concert promoters, are being sued for billions of dollars. Drake has also been named in a number of the lawsuits. Travis has released some statements and even a video apology, but fans are extremely disappointed and believe he should have stopped the show. Videos have even surfaced of Travis looking right at the crowd while someone was being resuscitated, and many believe he saw what was happening and just did nothing. Following the tragedy, Travis is flooded with lawsuits, and no venue will ever want to host a concert of his again. And at number 9, DaBaby. DaBaby endured probably the worst cancellation of 2021 after he made homophobic remarks while on stage performing. He paused his performance and said in part, quote, "If you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly diseases, that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks, put your cell phone light up," adding that ladies can put their cell phone lights up if their privates, quote, "smell like water," then making derogatory comments about men hooking up in the parking lot. After the comments were made, the rapper faced backlash from fellow performers as well as fans. His collaborator Dua Lipa even made a statement condemning him. The rapper was supposed to be headlining the final day of Lollapalooza, but he was later dropped, along with getting pulled or dropping out of countless other festivals. He's made countless statements and apologies since, but fans have not believed any of them. And at number 8, Matt Damon. Matt Damon got cancelled after he revealed in an interview that he only recently stopped using the F slur in conversation. He thought the media would praise him for the decision, but everyone was just wondering what took him so long. During an interview, he shared a story about how his daughter urged him to stop using the F slur, as it is homophobic. Damon claims he only used it as a joke and never in a hurtful manner, but that his daughter's words resonated with him and he decided to stop. But that instantly backfired, with people calling out the star for ever saying it in the first place. Damon then tried to clear the air and clarified that he never actually said the F slur in the first place. He only heard it back when he was a kid. Damon said, quote, "I never called anyone that word in my personal life, and this conversation with my daughter was not a personal awakening. I do not use slurs of any kind." But it seemed to be too little too late. And at number 7, David Dobrik. David Dobrik used to be classified as one of the most successful YouTubers ever, known for giving away cars to his friends. But that all changed when Trisha Paytas started hosting the Frenemies podcast and went after David and his crew. Shortly after, Frenemies started bringing up David's worst moments. An insider article dropped where a girl shared her story of being assaulted by Vlog Squad member Dirty Dom. The woman also accused David of facilitating the toxic environment that led to her assault. But that's not all. Around this time, it was also exposed that he was responsible for an accident that almost took the life of his good friend Jeff Wittick. Jeff was partaking in a stunt for David's vlogs, but it went horribly wrong, and David took things too far, leading Jeff to have serious, life-threatening injuries to his face and eye. David took a long break, but is posting to YouTube once again. And at number 6, Chrissy Teigen. If you guys remember, Chrissy Teigen went through a massive cancellation after it was revealed that she bullied multiple celebrities over the years on Twitter, even coming after children at some points. Her main target seemed to be Courtney Stodden, who spoke out against Teigen and her harassment many times. All of her unearthed tweets were incredibly disgusting and made the entire internet turn on her. Chrissy decided to leave the internet for an undisclosed amount of time to reflect on her words and actions, but the time she took away only turned out to be a measly 23 days. She couldn't even pretend that she was actually going to change her ways and work on herself. Her return to the internet was not taken well, and many of her fans have stopped supporting her. She also just got backlash for hosting a Squid Games themed party. Many think it's ironic because she would be the rich person paying to watch in the real show. Halfway number 5, Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato received massive backlash after they attacked a small business on Instagram. After Demi visited a frozen yogurt shop in LA, they were shocked to see that there were multiple sugar-free and low-calorie options at the store, which Demi believed promoted diet culture. Demi decided to take their anger to the internet, where they blasted the shop in an Instagram story. But the shop clapped back on their own Instagram and said that they cater to all different types of diets, and the snacks that Demi saw were most likely for diabetics or people with celiac disease. After this, people started attacking Demi, saying they should have known all the facts before attempting to cancel the shop, especially in the midst of a pandemic which hit small businesses the worst. And at number 4, Erika Jayne. I have been following this one since day one, as I'm a huge fan of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. One of the cast star ladies, Erika Girardi, aka Erika Jayne, shocked the world when she suddenly decided to divorce her husband, all-star attorney Tom Girardi. But then police and lawyers got involved, and it was exposed that Tom was a fraud and achieved their lavish lifestyle from stealing from his clients. The fact that Tom represented orphans and widows made things even worse, as he was stealing from people that really needed the money. Erika is now being sued left, right, and center, and she might even be facing jail time. She spent the entire season of the show fielding accusations about her involvement, but over time the fans and fellow cast members turned on her. She's still on the show as of now, but facing bankruptcy with all her lawsuits. And at number 3, Justin Timberlake. After Framing Britney Spears was released, fans realized just how horrible that Justin was to Britney during their relationship. The documentary centered around Britney's terrible treatment in the media and how the people in her life contributed to this. One of the people that made the media treatment worse was her boyfriend at the time, Justin Timberlake. His worst offenses were speaking about their love life when that was something that Britney wanted to keep hidden, along with insinuating that Britney cheated in his Cry Me a River music video. But Timberlake was not only exposed for treating Britney badly, but his handling of the infamous Janet Jackson Super Bowl scandal also resurfaced, because Jackson's career was essentially ruined after the incident, but Timberlake got away scot-free. In response to all the backlash, he posted a lengthy apology to Instagram. Although many felt it was forced by public pressure, not really genuine. And at number 2, Morgan Wallen. Country singer Morgan Wallen was swiftly cancelled this year after he was caught using the N-word on a security camera in February. Wallen was already on thin ice with the public after he left the SNL crew scrambling to replace him as the musical guest on the show when he broke quarantine guidelines before his appearance. At the the time the footage was released, Wallen had one of the most successful country albums ever made. But after the incident he apologized, saying, quote, "I'm embarrassed and sorry. I used an unacceptable and appropriate racial slur that I wish I could take back." The public was so outraged that his music was blacklisted from radio stations and he was taken off Spotify playlists. Since the scandal, he has started touring again and still breaking country music records, although he is still banned from a lot of award shows. And finally, number 1, Sia. Sia is known for being a massive pop star, belting out insane vocals. But this year she decided to try a new venture out, most recently directing the film Music. But this film might have just destroyed her career. The movie was released in February of 2021, and even before its release, it was already getting widespread criticism. The film is about an autistic girl who's brought under the care of her half-sister after the passing of their mother. Originally it faced backlash for casting Maddie Ziegler to play Music in the film when she is not autistic, but after its release it was criticized for not accurately portraying those on the autism spectrum, as well as showing harmful and dangerous restraint methods in the film that were widely condemned by those in the community. The film currently has a 14% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, and Sia was forced to apologize for Maddie's portrayal in the film.
Now I'm pretty sure we saw this one coming, but I just had to include James Charles on this list. Yes, for the past couple of months, or at least at the time of filming this video because it's currently November, James Charles hasn't really been in much trouble, but if we know him at all, something is bound to happen. James seems to be getting into some kind of controversy or scandal at least once a year, so there's no way that there won't be another James Charles is Over party in 2022. Just this past year, James got into some trouble because of another scandal involving a fan, he lost a hosting job for an internet show, and his Morphe collab went kaput. He even had some of his longtime friends turn against him, like Tana Mojo, when she accused James of manipulating another influencer. James also faced temporary demonetization from YouTube because of the controversy he was facing. James was also involved in a lawsuit with his former editor and producer, and that caused a lot of drama as well because he was accused of wrongful termination. This former employee also claimed that James said the N-word on a number of occasions, and as you could imagine, that did not help him out in the slightest. To top it all off, James was recently named one of the most hated YouTubers on the platform according to Forbes, so things really aren't looking good for James. He seems to be having a hard time online as of late, so it's only a matter of time until trouble resurfaces and he gets cancelled once again. At number 9, Kim Kardashian. Kim K is yet another celebrity who's faced cancellations on a number of occasions. This past year was very eventful for her, both in positive and negative ways though. She first made headlines this year when it was announced that she and Kanye West were splitting up, but she also got to host SNL and made headlines on the red carpet at the Met Gala for her head-to-toe shadow Balenciaga look. But these headlines can't take away from the negativity that she carries with her, specifically the cultural appropriation. As you are all probably aware, Kim has faced a lot of scrutiny over the years for appropriating various cultures. She's faced backlash for wearing black hairstyles like cornrows and for blackfishing as well. She also got in trouble a few years back when she wanted to name her shapewear brand Kimono, but she faced backlash from the Asian community for that. Over the course of the pandemic, she and her family got cancelled for going against COVID guidelines and for going on vacation while everyone else was locked down at home. I feel like there are a lot of people just looking for the next big thing to hold against Kim, so it might be safe to say that 2022 might bring yet another scandal and subsequent cancellation. Before we continue on with our 2022 cancellation predictions, I would first like to take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also maybe consider subscribing to the channel as well to see more videos like this one. At number 8, James Corden. This year, people learned that they not so secretly hate James Corden. I mean, the amount of times I saw James Corden trending on Twitter for people just talking about how much they hate him kinda says a lot. The actor and late night host got in a lot of scandals this year, so another one in 2022 is probably a guarantee at this point. So far, James has been known to undermine his employees at his late night show. He's been faced with backlash for his Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts segment, as well as he's been known to use traditional Asian foods as part of the gross foods. On top of that, he's faced a lot of scrutiny for his Golden Globes nomination for a role in the movie Prom, where he played a gay character because people thought he used too many gay stereotypes in his portrayal of the role. On top of that, a number of people who've worked with him or have had encounters with the host have also made a lot of negative comments about him, making him look like a pretty bad guy. It seems like he's landing himself in more and more hot water as time goes on, so we may very well be on the lookout for another scandal headed his way in the new year. At number 7, Chrissy Teigen. This year, Chrissy Teigen got cancelled and it blew up big time. Over the summer, Chrissy faced backlash for resurfaced tweets and DMs directed at Courtney Stodden from back in the day. These messages were really hateful and mean, and Courtney has come out to say that these comments that they got from Chrissy when they were a teenager really affected them greatly. Because of this, Chrissy got cancelled, but she made the backlash towards her an even bigger deal, and people said that she stayed playing the victim in the whole situation, and this made people really dislike her. As many of us have come to notice, when the internet gangs up on someone and they all start to dislike them, people start to be on the lookout for the next big slip up from the celebrity, just waiting for them to be cancelled again. Because people learned just how mean Chrissy Teigen could be after seeing all this drama with Courtney Stodden, it may be a matter of time before someone digs up another mean message from Chrissy's from back in the day. At number 6, Chris Pratt. It seems like Chris Pratt is on his way out, so to speak. Chris has been making headlines lately because people want him cancelled. First, back in 2020, people were upset with the actor because he didn't publicly support Joe Biden, and a lot of people took to criticizing his Christian faith. Now, someone's faith is no reason to hate someone, I will say, that's just absurd, but still, it had a lot of people going off at him. On top of that, just recently, Chris faced backlash after he posted about his wife Katherine Schwarzenegger and how she gave him a quote, gorgeous, healthy daughter. This had people running to his ex Anna Faris to support her because fans believed that Chris's comment was a dig at the fact that their son Jack was born premature and had to spend time in the NICU before being allowed to go home after he was born. People called Chris out for his choice of words, and they're using this as further fuel against the actor. I feel like with this tension bubbling up, 2022 might be the year that Chris Pratt actually gets cancelled, but we shall see. At number 5, Kanye West. This one is probably pretty self-explanatory, but Kanye West is probably one of those celebrities who will get cancelled in the coming year. Kanye is pretty controversial, as we've seen many times before. I mean, there's the Taylor Swift beef, the fights with paparazzi, the Hurricane Katrina fundraiser incident, his rants about Donald Trump, and his controversial Twitter presence as well. Kanye also got in trouble for posting a video of him peeing on his Grammy Award and going on about all of that drama on Twitter as well. Now Kanye is seemingly in the process of reinventing himself, going by Ye now, but I mean, it's not Kanye without a little bit of controversy, right? So I don't think any of us will really be surprised if he gets cancelled for something in 2022. At number 4, Shane Dawson. We just had to include another YouTuber on this list because they seem to be the celebrities who get cancelled the most, probably because the majority of the internet's eyes are on them. Shane Dawson is one of YouTube's most problematic content creators, and much like James Charles, it seems like he gets into some kind of controversy every year. Just last year, Shane got into some drama after his old blackface videos once again resurfaced during the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, and he had to issue yet another apology video. On top of that, Shane has also gotten in trouble for his collaboration with Jeffree Star because Jeffree is also known to be quite controversial on the platform. Recently, Shane made his return to YouTube after having left the platform for a while after his last controversy, and when he posted his first video back, Twitter was abuzz with people ripping on the YouTuber, complaining that he has yet again returned. Because of his reputation online and the sheer number of people who know how to dig up his past, it might be safe to assume that another cancellation is coming simply because he's Shane and he's lost a lot of respect over the years. At number 3, Lil Nas X. Now, I don't want to admit this, but Lil Nas X might get cancelled next year. I personally love Lil Nas X, and I think he's creative, fun, and talented, but with every drop he does with his music, he somehow starts facing backlash. We saw this earlier this year when he dropped his Montero music video because it became widely controversial, with fans and politicians talking about it online. Because the video showcased religious themes like heaven, hell, and the devil, people found it to be a little much and really dug into the rapper for that one. He also got into trouble for releasing the Satan shoe with Misfit because they got into legal trouble with Nike. On top of that, the rapper faced more scrutiny when he released a music video for his song Industry Baby because of the content, specifically the shower scene. But it was pretty iconic, so honestly, I can't see why you would hate that, right? With every new drop he makes, it seems like there's people who are always offended by the content, so I wouldn't be surprised if those same people are out to cancel the rapper. I hope it doesn't happen, but knowing the internet, there's a good chance that it will. Nas, though, will probably remain unfazed as he normally does. At number 2, Jamie Lynn Spears. Jamie Lynn Spears, Britney Spears' sister, got caught up in the scandal that was her sister's conservatorship case. There was a lot of family drama involved, as you can imagine, and instead of laying low, she stepped into the spotlight, and doing that attracted a lot of hate towards her. Many of Britney's fans criticized Jamie for not standing up for her sister and watching her suffer through the conservatorship for so long. Things took such a nasty turn for Jamie that it damaged her relationship with Britney, and right now, with the massive amount of support that Britney has garnered over the last few months, an enemy of Britney is an enemy for everyone. I feel like Britney's fans are watching her sister like a hawk, waiting for one wrong move in order to cancel her, but what do you guys think? And finally, at number 1, Nicki Minaj. Recently, Nicki Minaj has been facing more and more backlash, and she's pretty close to getting cancelled. Recently, she got in some hot water for some comments that she made about the COVID vaccine, spreading a rumor that the vaccine physically harmed someone, though sources came out to debunk that, saying that it wasn't true. On top of that, Nicki recently got in trouble with Little Mix fans after she defended her music video with the girl group's former bandmate, Jessie Nelson, who's accused of blackfishing in the video. She weighed in on the whole situation with Jessie in an Instagram live and got pretty heated about it, and some fans didn't like the way that she handled things. It may seem minor, but then again, we're talking about cancel culture and no one is truly safe, even with minor scandals, so you never know. We might see Nicki up next on the Twitter chopping block.